What's up, guys? Iceman here. So this is my second channel. So if any of you are interested, I'd appreciate it if you like the damn video and if you subscribe to the page. I'm trying to get this shit monetized. Because I am trying to acquire some land and I intend to move there if I get it. And I have something in mind. 7 acres, it's backed up to national land, but I mean it's not set yet, and it might be a little ways off. So the thing is, if I get that, I would like to make some videos there. I'm gonna have chickens and shit. I mean, I already have chickens in the yard here, and it's been interesting. You know, they go around and lay their eggs, and they eat bugs, and at first that grossed me out, but the truth is, a lot of that shit you buy from the store, even if it says free range, the stipulations for free range is startling if you were to look into it. Something like free range means they have access to outside and they have like a foot. Non-caged means they have like a square foot of accessible territory. It's fucked up. And who's to say that these free-range runs actually are able to get outside? You know, they have access to outside. It's probably a small fucking hole in the barn. And all the chimkins are packed in it so tight they don't even ever get out there. But they can if they lose a bunch of weight, but they never really do. But I don't know, man. There's got to be something to be had about eating eggs where the chickens are getting sun and they just have a good variety in their diet. All right, but that's kind of just the beginning of it, because I would like to be a little bit more self-sustainable, my woman and I. And there's probably something to be had in tapping into those primal initiatives that we have to get off of our fucking asses and do stuff outside a little bit more. You know, I mean, I don't intend to bust my ass too much, but just getting out there, just being able to see the trees and the birds, listen to the birds, you know, things like that I think would be interesting and maybe helpful. But yeah, if I would intend to make some videos out there on this channel if it ends up happening. So, but in this video, I kind of wanted to talk to you dogs about the purpose of life and shit. All right? Because purpose is probably what drives us. And if you don't have much purpose, like myself, for example, I mean, I think I have some purpose, but I don't have a lot, all right? Like, I have some. Like, I'm in a house right now. Got a pretty good deal on it 5-6 years ago. So, you know, purpose could be to try to pay this shit off. You know, the truth is, I really never want to go work for the man, if you know what I'm saying. I've kind of found my way to some level, and it's been very nice. But I've been very cheap and frugal in my life. I learned this stuff just growing up and seeing others around me, and even seeing my own family. You know, just how life can be just a tedious, stressful grind. And there's all sorts of shit that gets thrown at us. A lot of variables, you know, things that could happen, things that could go wrong. But of course, it's not good to dwell on the fear. But maybe it's good to be aware of these things, to be aware of these possibilities, because that's kind of how I began. Now, I didn't make the best effort, say, in my late teens. Like, I did take out a student loan and paid off a lot of it, but some of it is still being paid off. So that, I think, was a mistake for me, because I never really wanted to go and bitch for somebody else. Now, of course, there's great things to be had in a college education, especially for something that's like really essential, like doctors and shit, right? engineers and shit. You know, there's merit there. But I just didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to go bitch for somebody else. So in my case, it was a pretty big fucking waste of time and money. So there I was, 18 years old, and of course, the bank knows that I'm not responsible enough for them to loan me money. So what they do in this scheme, obviously, is they get a co-signer. See? So then, later in life when you're paying this shit off, you have this co-signer that you can say, okay, I'm just gonna fuck around now and not pay the loan. And then the co-signer is gonna take the flack. But of course, you have then that moral obligation to be like, well, I don't want to fuck over the co-signer. I mean, they signed this loan. So you have that moral obligation to try to keep paying that, obviously. And I'm not speaking on my own behalf necessarily. It's just I've seen this, and I see it a lot, where there's a lot of young folk who are in this position, and it puts them in a bad spot because it's even more difficult then to become a homeowner. Of course, you want to become a homeowner, I think, because of the equity and because of all this fucking inflation. You're going to be paying rent, and it's just going to continually increase. You're not going to get anything back for it. You know, the house is, of course, an asset, or land, as an example as well, what I hope to get. But, man, I just think it's kind of a fucked up scheme because, like I said, you're kind of morally obligated to those co-signers. But of course, the bank knew better. See, because the bank is smart and shit. They're like, well, this kid doesn't know anything about life or being productive or making money or even what money fucking is. But this co-signer does, and they have a reputation that we're willing to invest in because we know they're going to be obligated to pay this shit back. So that's how the whole scheme works. But I don't give a shit to go on to that on with that so much right now. But my point is, you know, I've made some mistakes in that way and still paying for them. But I haven't gotten a new car. And I've never gotten a new car. I only spent a few $1,000s in the cars. And I'd recommend you guys do that. If you're looking to be a cheap motherfucker, get a... What up, dog? My card died. So, yeah, my point was, I've been cheap in many ways. And I feel like it's paying off to some extent. Now I'm going to get back to purpose in life. The truth is, a lot of you dogs, to some level, give me purpose, all right? Because I, for one, have always enjoyed entertaining. So I started making the Diablo videos. And I've done other forms of entertainment in my past a little bit, but the YouTube videos have been a great opportunity. You know, I can do it on my own terms, and I can do it whenever I want. There's a lot of freedom in it, and you don't have to follow anyone. So it's been great so far. But really, making the Diablo videos, for example, has given me purpose. As maybe that sounds weird, but I mean, I know a lot of you guys, you know, I read your comments, you know, and some of you are very supportive. And of course, some talk shit, but that's a growing thing in itself. The getting over the ego and pride, things like that, you know, humbling and all that shit. So it's been great. And I, of course, enjoy playing Diablo. So I thought, well, maybe I could entertain while playing Diablo and make some money doing it. So it's been a win-win situation. So thank you guys, especially for my supporters, Patreon, those who buy me a fucking coffee, and donos in the tip jar, etc. Links in the description below. But yeah, man, you guys, to a certain degree, have given me some purpose, all right? And this channel as well. You know, like I said, if I go forward with getting this piece of land, then it'll be a new territory of opportunity for me to make videos, of course. So I'll, of course, stick with my consistency on Diablo and making the Diablo videos. And that'll be my primary channel. I'm almost entirely sure of it. Unless if the other one blows up more, but it's hard to imagine. You know, I just need, you know, I mean, this is humble fucking beginnings, okay? So I got like 12 subs on this channel, but I just, you know, I assume if I consistently post more videos, if I get the land that I want, you know, there's going to be some opportunity to make videos, and that'll be fun as fuck. So I'll have 2 channels, hopefully, that I can make videos on, and talk about other things on the other channel, of course. And kind of give you guys just updates on how it is, you know, living out in the woods and shit. It's gonna be fucked up if I do it. You know, I don't want to talk too highly of it just yet, because I haven't. But purpose. But how much purpose is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell is Ice Boy gonna be doing 30 fucking years from now? Shit, I think this card's gonna die again, but 30 fucking years from now. Because here's the thing. Now, I haven't reproduced, okay? Now, my perspective on such things has changed over the past couple of years. Because in the past, it was easy to, what up, dog? Card got fucked up again. So I'm gonna make this shit short and sweet. So basically I was going on about how maybe, yeah, my perspective's changed a little bit on those things. You know, initially it was like, well, kids, you know, they're going to be an expense, and I don't want to have to go work for the man. I don't want to have to go slave for the man. And the children, I think, make you vulnerable as well, especially in today's world. Because in the past, kids were an asset. You know, I'm talking 100, 200 fucking years ago. You'd have them and they'd work on your farm and shit. You know, you have them build things, and there were no big ass student loans that are more expensive than mortgages. And you didn't have, you know, premiums on health insurance, car insurance, dental insurance, all this shit. You know, it wasn't like that, man. Like, they'd have the children, and it was a vast benefit. But how the powers that be, how they have it arranged today is the polar opposite as far as I see it. Because now they can easily be, well, they're a financial burden, man. You know, and they're a lot of fucking responsibility. And it's very common for them to stay with you, living with you, even in their 20s and sometimes 30s and even beyond. It's fucked up. So there's a lot of variables to measure here. You know, and then someone say, well, Ice Boy, if you bring a child into today's world, it's fucked up. You know, the world is fucked up, today especially. I mean, just look at what's kind of going on around the world, and the division and the hate, and how hard it is to get through. And of course, health has declined vastly as far as I know. I mean, there's fucked up shit in everything that we eat, probably everything that we drink. You know, there's all sorts of detrimental things in terms of what we're subjected to every fucking day. Probably more so than what's ever been before. So some might argue, well, Iceman, it's fucked up to subject one to this reality. I mean, you're alive for a little while, and you suffer some, and then you die, and you lose it all. So what really are you subjecting one to? Some would say that's, you know, that's kind of mean to do that, to subject a being to this existence. And there might be some merit to that argument. But of course, on another hand, you have those, and you know, myself is kind of an example of this, where you have hope, man. You know what I'm saying? You have hope, dog, that maybe good things are coming. You know, maybe there's more to this existence than what meets the eye. Now, I ain't gonna get into it, but I mean, I've touched on it lightly before. Just the kingdom of God and shit. All right, it's in the Old and New Testament. You know, references of these things, and it makes me wonder, and it gives me hope. All right. They say it's coming or it's at hand, and the tears will be wiped away, and suffering will be no more. You know, it'll be like Garden of Eden and shit. Only the wrongs are made, or the negative impacts have been made positive, and the suffering's gone. You know, it sounds fucking nice. And we probably won't be these disgusting, fat, sick blobs that many turn into, that are suffering internally and have clouded minds, you know, things of that sort. It gives me hope, man. So one could argue in that perspective, well, if you subject one to this fucked up existence, there's that hope of this coming kingdom that this now life being is going to be able to experience after, of course, going through the harsh realities of this fallen world. You know what I'm saying? So there's arguments to be had there. But of course, many will say, well, there's a lot of children in need who can be adopted. Now, I know many people who have adopted, some who are very close to me. And as far as I see it, it's a generous, selfless. Of course, many of those who do it would probably say, no, it's not selfless, because it's such a rewarding thing to try to bring a better life to a life that's already there. You know, and there might be positive effects in that as well. But I don't know. I know a lot of you guys actually have children. So I'm curious what you have to say in the comments below. You know, if it, in terms of it giving you purpose or drive, or if it's rewarding. And some say it gives you urgency, or you're going to work. You know, you're going to accomplish more. Even though life is now costing you more because you have children, you're going to accomplish more. I'm curious what you guys have to say about that, because some, of course, take the path where you don't do that. You know, and that's something that I've, you know, in my past have highly considered. And still, I'm kind of divided on, man. Because right now, I got too much at stake. You know, I got too much that I'm trying to do here. But sometimes I do slack off because I don't have that much responsibility in life. But of course, it is, you know, an option, and many have done it, where you just don't. But what the hell is life going to look like when you're 50, 60, 70 years old, if you live that long, and you don't got any fucking kids to talk to come visit you and shit? You know what I'm saying? But of course, on the other hand, sometimes things just go south with them. You know, sometimes the kids, they suffer and they go through all sorts of shit. And what sort of state of mind are you in then? When you know that you brought them into this world, in that case, this is outside of the case of adoption, you subjected them to this shit and their life's fucked up. How do you feel then? You know, let me know in the comments below. But there's got to be, I don't know, man. I'm just thinking about loneliness and shit. But with you guys, like I said, it gives me some purpose to make the videos and entertain. And there are many who have taken that path where they have impact on the world, if that's what you want, without, you know, having children. So I'm just curious, what do you guys think about all this stuff? And what's your take on purpose in life? And are you single, or are you married? Are you with a woman? Do you have children, or do you intend to have children? Or do you intend to not? And what are your reasons? And where do you see yourself in the future if you don't, or if you do? And, you know, what do you want today? So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this shit. Like the video, subscribe to the page, become a patron if you want. More videos to come. Peace be with you.